All right, folks, welcome to the second landing page workshop. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me okay. That will be important for this piece here. I can see that Ram is here, but just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me and see me okay. Really excited. Did one of these on Saturday, the Thanksgiving Saturday, and actually had some people show up to that, which was awesome. There's a little bit of a lag in between me speaking and it showing up in the chat, so AV is good, and I can hear you. Perfect. Hamish is there too. Beauty. I'm going to be transferring in and out of the chat. Oh, sorry. This is the chat. This is the chat. Got to remember my control center here. Really excited about this. The first one went really well. People really enjoyed it. Whenever you do something like this, you're always hoping that what you've prepared meets people where they're at. And so I have a printout here of why all you folks are here. I have a few ideas, so many. You're looking to validate some ideas. I want to build a desktop app that teaches people how to code interactively. I just want to use this for future projects. I just want to learn. You're all here for different reasons. And I'm excited that you're here. And like I said, I'm hoping that I can connect with you and really teach you something new. Now, for today, we are going to be there's 3 different ways you can interact with my material today. By the way, hi, Evan. Good to see you here. The funny thing about these workshops is that I think I have 21 registrations total, and I'm expecting about 4 or 5 people to show up in the live chat. A lot of people just want the recording. That's fine. But for you folks here, you are going to get the magic. Hey, John. Good to see you. You're going to get the magic because you're going to be able to interact with me. One thing I haven't been able to fix yet is there's no way for you to post URLs in the chat. Big thumbs down. What I want you to do is email me, justin@megamaker.co, and with your landing page or your home page, if you want me to, in the second half of this, so we're going to go till about 1 o'clock with instruction. In the second half of this, I'll do some live landing page teardowns. I'll recommend, a bunch of things for your page. On Saturday, we only had one person do that, and he got all of the advice. It was really helpful for the other folks there, but if you have something you want me to look at, justin@megamaker.co. I'll check my email at the end of the hour, and then we'll go into some teardowns, live examples, and Q&A. You folks all with me on that? Give me a hell yeah or a thumbs up in the chat. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can interact with the instruction piece here. All right. So number 1 is this right here. If you go to megamaker.co/sample, you will see this right here. And this is the page that we're going to be using in all my examples. Sounds great. Good. Hell yeah. Good to hear. So this is the page we're going to be using. So option number 1 is you can just interact with that page. You can use that as a sample as I'm going through it. Option number 2, oh, and actually let me show you something on this. You folks have probably seen me do this in the past, but I'm going to right-click, click on console. I'm going to pump this up so you guys can see it. And I'm going to type in document.design-mode equals on. Sorry, let me get over here. Document.design-mode equals on. So let me go through that again. I'm just going to copy this. So right-click, inspect, console, document.design-mode equals on. I'm pasting that in the chat. Hit enter. Now it's on. What does that allow me to do? It allows me to edit this in real time. Super, super awesome. So if you would like to follow along and just do that, if you'd like to just have a, if you'd like to just follow along as I'm editing these things and using it as your own, for your own learning, feel free to do that. You can always click save and save page as to save your progress, and that might be good enough for you in terms of the learning portion of this. All right, so I'll paste that in the chat. Document.design mode on. Hopefully that you understand how I'm doing that. Option number 2 is, of course, you could also, just as I'm going along, you could be using your own text editor and editing as we go along. The whole point behind this is at the end of this session, I want you to have a landing page started and hopefully even a landing page almost finished, like the kind of raw form of a landing page that you're going to be able to use for your project. So that is option 2, text editor. All right. Option number 3 is you could sign up for something like Carrd. I actually have a discount code for you folks inside of the resources I gave you. But if you go to Carrd, and you actually don't even need to sign up for an account at this point. You can choose a starting point. And you might say, oh, this one looks good here. Just ignore this, maybe later. And what I love about Carrd is it allows you to edit in place. Oh, that's a pro one. Sorry. Let's use this one here. So it allows you to edit in place without knowing HTML. So as we're going through this, it'll be like, who is this? Who is this for, right? And you're going to be able to edit as we go through these exercises this morning. That might be helpful for you to be able to do that. Carrd, that's CARRD.co. Again, I will put that in the chat here. Hopefully it doesn't take away my URLs. I don't know why YouTube strips out URLs. So frustrating. Oh, and what are we on now? Was that option 3? I guess I got 4 options. The last option is, and you might find this the best option if, if you really want to focus on the instruction and not have to fit with HTML or anything. This is how Jason Fried does his landing page testing. Setup. He just, in a notepad doc, he just says, okay, what is the central plane and who is this for? What's the subheadline? What's the body? And so you might choose to do this as well as I'm going through the lesson. Just use Notepad. That is fine as well. All right. You folks ready? Have you chosen what you're going to do? So option 1, you follow along with me on megamaker.co/sample. Option 2, you open up your web page in your own text editor. Option 3, use Carrd. Option 4, use Notepad. And if you guys are all good with that, if you all are ready, are you ready? Are you ready to get going here? All right. Let me get set up. Let's see what everyone's saying. Everyone's ready? Not yet. Let me take a breather. Last time I spoke way too fast. I ran out of air. All right. Hamish is giving me the smiles. He's ready. I'm going to take that as a yes, and let's get going. So here we go. Let's transition into the web page. Like I said, right-click, inspect, console, document design mode on. I've got a shortcode for this. I got to cheat. And now we're going to be able to edit. Now we're going to be able to edit this stuff. So the first thing is every landing page, no matter what, every landing page needs to clearly communicate who is this for, What is their struggle, and how do you make their life better? It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter, what. It doesn't matter what it's for. Every landing page needs to answer these questions, and the whole point is you need to be able to communicate when someone in a couple seconds, as soon as they get to the page, they need to be able to feel like, this is for me. I'm in the right place. These people understand me. These people know what I'm struggling with. I trust these people, right? That's what you're trying to achieve. And you'll notice that, my examples and everything, I'm focusing on the words. This is not a fancy design. This is the same template I've used for tons of my projects, like justinjackson.ca/Jolt. This is my book. I've sold thousands of copies of this. I've used it for a course I taught, right? It's all the same template. Product People Club. It's all the same template, and I've been able to use it over and over and over again because it helps me to focus on the words on a page. And what you're trying to communicate is, who is this for? What is their struggle? And how do you make their life better? So in the chat, we're going to have some interaction here. In the chat, I want you folks to give me some suggestions on an audience we could choose. What's a niche we could choose? Freelancers, designers, give me an idea. What are some possible niches, some possible audiences we should target in our example today? Dog walkers, restaurateurs, traveling bloggers. What's a good niche we could focus on? Social media managers. Give me an idea. Parents, okay, that's one. What are some other ideas? And Evan, maybe expand on that a little bit. What do you mean by parents? Is this parents of newborns? Who are these folks? Field servicemen. Field serviceman. What is a field serviceman? Now I've got to look this up. Keep posting your ideas. You can post multiple. A field serviceman is a soldier. I'd really like to have the B2B audiences are definitely the easiest to do research on. What are some other ones? Parents, field servicemen. Is there any other ideas? All right. Parents evaluating colleges. Okay. Massage therapists. I like massage therapists because already I can start to think, what are their challenges? I bet you they have a hard time attracting clients. I bet you they have a hard time, there's a bunch of things there. Okay, because John and Evan both suggested parents, we will go with parents evaluating colleges. Thanks for all of those suggestions. Let's get into this here. All right, so here we go. So who is this for? And at the beginning, I like to just start writing it out. Okay, parents evaluating colleges for their kids. What's their struggle? What are they struggling with? And sometimes it helps to kind of think about emotions that they might be feeling. What if I send my kid to a bad school? What other anxieties might they have? What if my kid doesn't get in? How do I know that this school is going to get my kid out of the house? Right? How do I know that this is going to help make my kid into a fully independent adult? Right? So Who is this for? It's for parents evaluating colleges for the kids. What are they struggling with? Here's some of the things they're struggling with. How are we going to make their life better? Now, reducing anxiety is definitely one. We could make it easier for them to choose the right school. We can rank schools so they don't have to, right? How can I sell a kidney to afford this? Sorry, I'm reading the chat here. I like what John is saying. He's like, parents are wondering, how can I sell a kidney to afford this? Yeah, exactly. So, I wasn't showing the chat the whole time. There we go. So how are we going to help these folks? How are we going to create something that is going to, enable these parents to have less stress about this whole situation? And one thing, the only way for us to truly know if this is a legitimate problem is to do some research, right? So in Google, we might say, how can I choose the right college for my kid, right? And as we did research, we might start to identify the major anxieties, but also what is already out there, what kind of resources and help has resonated with this audience, right? If it's at the top of Google, that means these things have already resonated. So this idea of a checklist for parents helping their kids pick a college, this is really helpful, right? And particularly helpful can be the comments. So let's go to the bottom here, and so this person applied for dozens of colleges. A lot of this seems to be geared towards undergrad business school. Is okay. So obviously this doesn't make very good video, but I'm looking through the comments. I'm kind of trolling through the comments to see what kind of major pain points come up. Strong research is the key. That's one person here. What makes one school different than another is the list of non-academic programs. Parent checklist make sure the financial aid offer is sufficient so that the student doesn't get buried in debt. That might be another one, right? If we're talking about how can I ensure my kid doesn't get buried in debt, right? So these are all, the only way to find this stuff out for sure is to do your research. And obviously we don't have time for that today, but that's where your landing page material initially is going to come from. The same could be true on Reddit. Always got to be careful when I show Reddit on screen. You never know if it's going to be safe for work. Choosing a college for your child. Let's see what shows up here. Yeah, so these people are starting a savings plan. Let's see here. Is there any comments on this? So, I mean, one trend for sure that's coming up is financial aid, and that might be something that we want to address here in our example. All right, so at this point, we've got to choose the direction we're going to take because I want to keep going with the example. So let's start to refine this a little bit. Parents choosing a college for their child want to know, How can I ensure my kid doesn't get buried in debt? Now, at this point, I'm going to take this section here, the reduce anxiety, all this part. I'm going to take that out for now because I'm going to put that down below. But if we just focus on this here, parents choosing a college for their child want to know, how can I ensure my kid doesn't get buried in debt? This might not be the best headline ever. You'll notice that a lot of working on a landing page is iterative. You put something on the page like we have here, and then you look at it and you go, how does that feel? Is that the right, could we make that more concise? Could we clean that up? But it's a starting point. It's way better than you just staring at a blank page and going, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to do this. Get something out on a page and look at it and go, okay, parents choosing a college for their kids want to know. See, I had child, but kids almost sounds better. Want to know, how can I ensure my kid doesn't get buried in debt? Now, right below here, we've got our button, right? A landing page is different from other types of web pages in that you have one action you want people to take, right? And that action could be sign up for my email list. It could be register in this program. It could be buy my product. It could be join my 5-email course. It could be sign up for this event. But a landing page, you're basically trying to attract the right people and get them to get down to this one action, this one CTA, this one call to action that you want them to take. And that's why landing pages typically don't have other navigation. They don't have, you don't link to your about page. You try not to link to anything else. That's the golden rule of landing pages is if you can, did I just go out of focus? If you can, don't link to anything else. You're just trying to get them to complete this one action. And it shouldn't be a huge ask. It should be just a small ask. Like, hey, what if you downloaded this resource, right? And so that's what we're going to try to, do here. Whoa. I just check this out. This is Inception. I just made myself totally go upside down here. Just hide that there. All right. So what is the one action we want them to take? And in this case, maybe it's, got to do it this way. Download our financial aid guide. Now, the PDF download is kind of it's becoming the cheap way to do things, right? There's people have been offering PDFs forever. In some markets, they're not as effective as they once were. But for parents, parents in their 60s and 70s and 80s, maybe a PDF is a great idea. By the way, for older folks, maybe the best thing isn't a download, but it could be get our financial aid guide in the mail. Guide in the mail, right? So the one action we want them to do is give us their actual mailing address, right? So far we've said, who is this for? What are they struggling with? And what's the one action we want them to take? We're almost done already. We've almost completed the checklist of everything a landing page needs to have. If you look in your handouts, this is the PDF that you got with your materials. There's a checklist. Who is this for? Check. What is their struggle? Check. What solution are you offering them? How will you make their life better? We haven't really talked about this yet. Why should they trust you? We haven't talked about that yet. And what action do you want them to take? We've got that. So we've got 3 out of the 5 already. Not too bad, right? How's everyone doing in the chat? We're still doing okay? I see some little inside jokes there about financial aid. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's get back to our example here. And you'll notice the next thing I have is a visual. And this could be an image, this could be a video. One thing, one little hack that you can use is faces, human faces, almost always increase click-through rates. So in this case, I've put my face in this video thumbnail beside this button. And in every A/B test I've ever done, having a video thumbnail or a image of someone's face, a human being's face, always increases click-through rates. And it's just human beings have millions of years of evolution, and we've been conditioned to respond to human beings, right? But having some sort of visual here. This could also be of your product if you are more of a product-focused company. So a great example of this might be, let's see what UGMonk's got on their homepage. So UGMonk, as soon as we get here, who is this for? You kind of have to guess here, but you can kind of see, oh, it's for maybe designer types. What does he want us to do? He wants us to shop now. In this case, the struggle is more, it's less of a struggle and more of what do they want, right? So in a B2B case, business to business case, you're often saying, here's your struggle. Here's how I'm going to solve it. In a B2C case, we're often dealing with wants. We're dealing with desires. And so here, Jeff is trying to create desire. But I wanted to use this as an example to say, this is what this is what it would look like if you had a product right here. You want to show them right there at the top. Here's a screenshot of the product, or here's a picture of the product. Now we're going to get into this section here. This section is where we're going to expand on, hopefully we've hooked them with this right here. Hopefully we've piqued their interest with the video or the visual. Now we need to dig into the pain, right? So let's get into this. I'm going to pump this up a bit. Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. Hopefully that's not too big. Dig into the pain. What makes this problem so hard for users? Now, because this is personal, this is parents choosing a college for their kids, I might get right into why, I help them identify that I also have had this pain. So I remember having to choose a college for my daughter, Sadie. She wanted to go to the best STEM school in North America. But when I looked at the tuition costs, I was floored. There's no way she could attend that school without student aid. The problem is I had no idea where to look. All right, so we're digging into the pain. And the other thing we've done here is, remember item number 4, why should they trust you? Why should they trust you? This is when people send me hundreds of landing pages every year, maybe even more than that. And the biggest thing missing from almost every landing page is, why should I trust you? You're just some anonymous thing on the internet. Why should I trust you? Why should I trust that you understand me, that you have my best interest at heart, and that you actually have a solution for me? Well, one way to do that is to tell stories. And stories are effective because we see ourselves in the stories. So if I'm a parent having to choose a college for my daughter or my son, and I have experienced that emotion of looking at tuition and being floored, and then having the hopelessness of saying there's no way she could attend that school without student aid, and then feeling like here's the obstacle, I have no idea where to look, what am I going to do? She's not going to be able to go to college. Now we're going to get into the solution. So I did hundreds of hours of research, and I compiled the most complete guide to getting financial aid for your child. It's a simple 10-page guide, and I want to mail it to you. Right? So now we're saying, here's the problem. You dig into the pain. Why is this so painful? Why is this so hard? Why am I here in the first place? Help me to feel the emotion of this. And then we dig into the solution. So what's the solution? Well, I did hundreds of hours research, so you don't have to. And I compiled the most complete guide to getting financial aid for your child. It's a simple 10-page guide, and I want to mail it to you, right? Now we've identified how are we going to make their life better. Now we've identified our solution. How does it make their life better? Well, now we paint the picture of a better life, right? Now you don't need to stress about whether you can send your kid to the best school. Your child will go to the best college available. No more worrying about money. So now we've painted the picture. Imagine you don't need to stress about whether you can send your kid to the best school. Your child will graduate. Maybe we could even say will graduate from their first choice in college. Right? And then maybe say without having to worry about finances. So we're painting the picture. How are we making their life better? This is how we're making their life better. And then below, we want to, again, get them to complete that one action. What's the one thing we want them to do? And in my example, you'll see, wow, you've got a button here, and then you scroll down, and then you've got more text, but then you've got another button. Isn't that redundant? No, it's not. In almost every test I've done, again, the click-throughs go up, and conversion goes up, most importantly, the more chances, the more opportunities you give people to buy or click, the more likely it is that they will. So put multiple buttons. Now, you don't want to have the same text necessarily on each label. So, for example, we might say, it's a little bit harder with this, isn't it? Get your guide right now. Right? Get your 10-page guide right now. Or even better, maybe just get started is another idea. And these are things you want to experiment with. These are things you want to do A/B tests on. Button labels. Generally, the thing I test first in an A/B test is headlines. And then second, I test number of buttons. And third, I test button labels, button, the text on the button. All right. Let's take a little breather here. How's everyone doing? Check in on the chat. I like this. I can't tell if Kenny is saying, I already opened my wallet. Where do I buy? I'm not, have I already convinced him to that I'm going to help him find some financial aid for his kids? I've got 4 kids. I've got almost a 15-year-old. She turns 15 in December. I have a 12-year-old in grade 7. He turns 13 in July. And then I have a almost 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. And so my daughter, she's grade 10, so she's 2 years away from college. Very, very scary for me. We've got a little bit of money saved up, but we gotta accelerate the savings. Okay, so Kenny's saying he needs this. Evan is saying, shut up and take my money. We're on a good path. Hey, you guys can feel it? I can feel it. All right, so let's get back to our example. And of course, the next thing we want to do is to tell them, who are we? Why can they trust us? Now, sometimes this section will be about your team. Sometimes this section will be about you. Whoever is making this solution should be the person that you identify here. And again, this is the one piece that is always missing. The internet is scary. Giving someone your email address is scary. Giving someone your mailing address is scary. Taking out your wallet and then giving your credit card to somebody on the internet is extremely scary. And you need to earn the right to have any of those things. Your customers and your email subscribers have the right to remain semi-anonymous, right? They don't need to have their details spread around the internet. But you, as the person offering something, do not have that luxury. You need to communicate who you are and why they should trust you. Especially if you don't have a bigger brand on top. Like if you're Coca-Cola, you can afford to be a lot more anonymous. Although in their case, I bet you if they had a landing page for something, they would increase conversion significantly if they had a human touch. Talk about who are the people behind this. And so that's our next section. So in this case, if it's me, I might say it's me. So I'm Justin, and my daughter just left for college, right? And so now we want to describe, and I like how I've done it in the sample. I've given you prompts, right? So describe yourself or your team. I never thought that I'd be a dad with a daughter going to college. Where did the time go? One moment, she's sleeping in my arms. She's a baby sleeping in my arms. Baby sleeping. One moment, she's a baby sleeping in my arms. The next moment, she's loading up her Honda Fit and leaving to attend Harvard. Right? So again, I'm a big fan of stories. I think stories build trust. Photos build trust. These are all things you can use. Why should people trust you? Well, part of the trust comes from them being able to identify with you, them being able to identify with your story, them feeling like, oh, this person is being vulnerable with me, or this company is being vulnerable with me. If this was a team product, you might talk about your experience, right? We have 10 years experience designing iOS apps for IBM, Microsoft, and Tesla. What noteworthy things have you done? And I'm going back to the other example now. I was voted Dad of the Year by Time Magazine in I was going to say 1998. We didn't start that early. In 2008. What are people saying? Justin's financial aid advice saved us hours of time and increased the aid. Is it aid? No, aid. Yeah, no, aid without an E. Our son received by 30%, right? So you're trying to show them why they should trust you. Customer logos, definitely. This is Ram that said this. Oh, and also, why are you passionate about the problem? There's no greater joy, and actually I should probably bring this up. Hey, you probably can't see that. There's no greater joy than having your child go to college and not having to worry about how they're going to pay for it. This is why I'm passionate about helping parents, right? And then again, what's the one action you want them to take? Get my 10-page guide now. So it's always a step. It's like we're taking baby steps towards them trusting us more and more and more. And after each time we give them something, we're like, well, here's something. And then we say, so here's your opportunity to respond. Now here's something. Here's your opportunity to respond, right? So I see there's some chat in the chat. I'm trying to keep up with it at the same time here. So who's asking this? Someone said RAM customer logos. Wait, someone asked a question. What's the best way to build SaaS trust for a SaaS app rather than a single product a person might be selling? So Viper Effects, let's come back to that in the second half. Okay, so we're going to get through this example just so we have some continuity, and then I will address SaaS. I have tons of experience selling SaaS. I've been working in SaaS since 2008. That's really all my product marketing knowledge comes from SaaS. So I have lots of things to share with you. I will do that in a bit, but for now, we're going to keep going on this example here. Someone else mentioned customer logos, and that is something I've got down here, right? So more social proof at the bottom. But let's keep moving along here, okay? Let's keep going with our case study. So we've just told them why they should trust us. Now we're going to share a case study. How Simon got 30% more in financial aid. Simon cried when he learned how expensive tuition was going to be. Justin's advice allowed him to go to the school of his dreams. All right, so this is where you share a success story. What was their life like before they met you? What were they struggling with? And what's their life like now? Paint a picture of future success. What does it look like? This is, again, super important. I've just started trying to force myself to put a case study, or at the very least, a testimonial on every landing page. Case studies, stories are great selling tools. just like they might identify with your story, now you are increasing the surface area, increasing the chance that they're going to either identify with your story or that case study up there, right? Increase the surface area. Make it more likely that they're going to trust you. So, case study, very important. Now we get into features. And of course, this is where, for a software as a service or a web app or any sort of app, you would definitely want to have an image that shows what does this product look like. You can't just talk about benefits all day. You can't just talk about this airy, dreamy, dream of a better life. People want to see also, how does this thing work? Animated GIFs are great. Balsamiq recently did this with Balsamiq Cloud. Lots of animated things on here. By the way, maybe we'll go through this as an example of a great SaaS landing page. But, they've got these animated, in this case, they're actually using animated videos, right? What is this exactly? This is, they're using that embedded video, but to show off the features, right? So describe how it works. Let me bring this up here so you can see it. Describe how it works. Describe the major features. Describe the benefits. Okay, and then here, again, sign up now. We want to have another button, right? Very important. And then, again, more social proof. So you've just shown them how it works. Now you need to bring it back to human beings are pack animals. We are social creatures, and we want to see things that we can trust. So more social proof. We've worked with Fast Company and Entrepreneur and Inc. and Lifehacker. Who else is using this? Where else has your work appeared? And then I like to have a conclusion of some sort. And again, these are all just guides. This is not the rigid system for doing every landing page. That's not the point. The point is to give you some ideas and some prompts. And this conclusion I have here comes from StoryBrand, which is a company that does this kind of consulting. But they have this great Mad Lib for kind of describing what you do. So many parents have difficulty funding their child's college education. My, in this case, guide helps parents find financial aid quickly. Quickly is not a great word, but we'll use that for now. My guide helps parents find financial aid quickly. Now they can relax knowing that their child will get the best education. So the formula is really most founders, most parents, many artists, many workshop attendees have difficulty, have struggle, want to achieve this, want to go here, want to be this. Our product helps them do that by Now they can relax. Now they can achieve. Now they can go do. What superpower are you giving them, right? It's a great framework for describing what you do. And remember, this is work worth doing because all of this copywriting you're doing right now, all of this, word massaging, going over this and iterating over and over and over again, this is the stuff you're going to use when you get into an elevator with someone and they're like, so, hey, what do you do? And you'd be like, okay, well, most parents have really struggled to like fund their kids' college education. And the other person's gonna be like, oh man, tell me about it. My sister's had a heck of a time. And then you say, well, my product basically helps parents find financial aid easier and typically, increases the amount of financial aid they get by 30% at interest rates about 2 or 3 points lower than, traditional interest rates. And so the other person's like, whoa, wow, that's incredible. And then you could say, yeah, it actually made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. They're way calmer. It's, I love going to work every day. You're taking everything you've done in the landing page and just applied it to real life. You're going to use this everywhere. In tweets, in pitch sessions, when you're talking about it, everywhere. Okay, so how are we doing in the live chat here? I've been talking a mile a minute and I need a little break. Just going to think whether I missed anything. This is the instruction piece of the webinar. We're almost exactly an hour in. If you have questions at this point, feel free to start posting them in chat. I'll check my email in a second. Maybe the first thing we'll do for ViperFX is go through the balsamic example so you can see this in a SaaS context. I also want to point you to these pages here because there is tons of information. It really fleshes out a lot more of these. For example, talking about how to create good headlines. One thing we didn't cover is that action verbs in headlines kill. They're like one of the best ways to get people to act. And so as we're editing this page here, one of the things we might change this to is using an action verb right away so that to make the headline punchier. So get your kid into the best college and then maybe we say without breaking the bank, right? So now we're testing out different iterations on this, but this isn't exactly an action verb. Maybe it's enroll. There we go. Now we've got more of an action word. Action verbs typically in split tests outperform everything else. So enroll, join. Now I'm drawing a blank here, but anything. Well, I've got examples here. So one example would be create professional client proposals in minutes. Record bugs easily. Send with confidence, right? So those verbs really create momentum, and that can be really helpful. So I've got stuff on headlines. I've got stuff on landing page body. So put a visual near the top, list the benefits, show social proof, talk about what makes you unique. Focus on one call to action. I've got 5 creative lead magnets, things you might not have thought of before. Everyone's doing PDFs, so what can you do that is unique and original? Anyways, tons of great stuff. I also go into an example on how BidSketch does this stuff. Really great stuff. I'll leave it there. Let's see what we want to talk about. We've got here. Let me bring up the live chat here. That's the one thing about YouTube live stuff. By the way, you're going to be able to access this after. This is a private YouTube event, but you'll have the link. You'll be able to access it. I'm started to put the chat into the video because it disappears. And I just want there to be a record of it. Okay, so here we go. Ram wants thoughts about fonts and typography. Sure. I think it does matter. The way your page looks matters. And I'm not a designer, so I don't want to give you too much advice here, but there's a few basic principles. One, stick to 1 or 2 typefaces, right? I like the type to be bigger if I can. I still like, what's Zeldman's site looks like? Zeldman. People might disagree with me, but I like, yeah, look at this. The big, bold type, really large font size for the main body, really big, bold headlines, really simple colors, kind of a orangey red and black. I personally love sites like this. I'll have some links actually. This is a good example of something I don't have in the resources yet. I'll link to some great design resources on typography and things like that. But to me, yes, the design's important. Font pair is something that Hamish just recommended. Let's look at that quick. Yeah, I've been here before. This is a good one. Font pair will give you, I think these are all Google fonts, but so these are free fonts you can use, and they'll show you this, this headline goes really well with this body text, right? So use a resource like this, but the more important, I think, is to keep it really simple. This is why I like this template so much, is that it's just super simple, one column. You can't get distracted by anything except for the words and a few visuals. So, but I will put some more resources on that. Yes, Jason's saying, I need to practice headline writing. Yeah, we all need to practice. Even notice, even me going back up to the top of my page there, I started to change a lot at the top, right? Just in my second pass, I thought, well, maybe we should do it this way. And I might keep cleaning it up. I might keep going, okay, how can we actually make this look better, right? And so I might be like, okay, let's see if we put it all in the same line. How does this look? And then we get the button right there. Enroll your kid into the best college without breaking the bank. Maybe breaking the bank isn't strong enough. Maybe we should go without going broke. Oh, sweet. Now I can get it all on on 2 lines. This is amazing. These are things you can play around with. None of this is supposed to be static. You keep messing around with it. You keep improving it. And the only way to get better at it is to practice. And so headline writing, a great way to practice headline writing is Twitter. Although now they have 280 characters, kind of messes it up, but 140 characters. That's a great way to practice a headline right there. And just see what people click on and what they retweet. What I usually will do is I'll get it out on paper first so I don't overthink it. And then I'll get stuff like this checklist and I'll go through it and go, oh, maybe I could put an action verb in there. And shoot, I've got too much about me in this headline. I need to have more about the person, right? So these are all things that we all need to practice, me included. Okay, the word get. So get your kid into college, get the guide now. I'm starting to see that word be less effective. It used to be really effective. And like everything, what's the famous slogan? Marketers ruin everything. Once something gets overused, it's just not as effective. So I'm seeing the word get is not as effective. But you got to test this stuff out. Any suggestions for finding people in a given market to test a landing page with? Yes. Okay, we are going to talk about traffic Stay tuned for that. Okay. I'm going to get to that in this next section. I also added, after the first workshop, I added a section on getting traffic. So there's a PDF you can download in your resources. Have you guys seen the resources? Let me show you those. Just give me a second. So if you log in to the resources I gave you, they're all listed here. Here's the live event we're in. But Get More Traffic PDF, sample HTML landing page, that's this one here. You're free to use that in your own projects, by the way. Landing page makeover handbook, that's that resource I was showing you. And down here is the 50% off Card Pro. And over here is the past event recordings. If you want to see the one I did on Saturday, you can do that too. Okay. So, any suggestions for finding people in the target market to test? Yeah, so we're going to work on traffic in a second. So keep putting your questions in there. Let me just check my email quick. I know someone said they sent me their landing page. I want to make sure we get to that. Okay, so I've got one from John that I'll put in my, I got to close some tabs. Got too much open here. Closing, closing, closing. Okay, so we're going to put John's in here. And Evan's got one. Okay, and is there any more? I think that's the two. So if anybody else has pages you want me to look at, I'll try to get to I'm definitely going to get to John and, sorry, is it Evans? But if you have something, you can email me, justin@megamaker.co. I'll try to get to all of them. And we're going to talk about traffic. But first, let's do this. So I promised a balsamic. Quick look at balsamic. Here we go. Let's bring this down. All right. So what I love about this is it actually illustrates a lot of what I'm talking about. So Balsamic Cloud, they're leading with their brand. I would actually test this, but they've actually got a pretty well-known brand. So in their case, this might be working for them. Often I find just putting the brand up in the upper left-hand side is enough because you want to use this headline to talk about who is this for, what's their pain. But fast, approachable, collaborative wireframing. So right away, do I know this? Is this for me? Well, if I'm someone that needs wireframing, I guess it is. What is the dream of a better life? It's fast, approachable, collaborative wireframing. I asked Peldy about this, and he said they tested this a ton. So I'm going to trust that their testing was correct. I think if I was him, I would test stuff like, I would be like, oh, I got to turn on editing here, don't I? I'd be like, fast wireframing for product managers. And then maybe have this like continue to scroll through other use cases for UX designers, for founders, right? Because then it gets into a little bit more of who it's for and maybe what their struggle is. But they've done a great job of having one call to action. It's very strong. It's right there on the page. Down here, we've got some social proof. And the social proof also has the advantage of telling us what kinds of people use Balsamic. Is this for me? I don't know. Well, if you are an RPG, if you are a UI designer, if you are a CEO, he's got Joel Spolsky. That's pretty good social proof. So already they're doing a lot of things right. Nice big headline, nice big call to action, some visuals, some faces. Remember, we talked about putting faces next to your calls to action. And they've also incorporated some social proof there. Then they get right into the features, right? So what is this going to allow you to achieve? It's effortless UI sketching. And then they show us what that looks like. Like, this is the other thing is that I was trying to get to was, especially if you have a software product, show it in action. Don't just talk about it. Show it. Show, don't tell. And we get into more benefits. It's easy to learn because it drag and drop. I get it. And I love just scanning through pages and see what I'm actually able to get just flying by. It's like, okay, it's the fastest. Okay, I guess it's speedy. It's collaborative. I can use it with my team. Okay, I'm moving really quick. It's powerful, elegantly powerful. I'm not a big fan of that. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. And then even this, all what they're showing me here, I guess they're showing me the product, but it doesn't have as much punch as some of these, right? And then we get in a little bit to, who are these people? Why should I trust them? Well, Balsamiq started in 2008, right? We've been doing this a long time. Why else should you trust us? Well, we're bootstrapped, we're bootstrapped, profitable, global, friendly, and 100% focused on making our customers more awesome. Okay, well, that's nice. How many customers do you have? We have over 500,000 customers. Like who? Who are your customers? Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Tesla. You might have heard of some of them. Great job of social proof. Great job of saying why we should trust them. Great job of sharing some of their story and their personality. Here they've got a little section on what is UI wireframing. They have to do a little bit of education on their page too, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That might apply to what you're building as well. And then they have another call to action down here at the bottom. All right. So that's an example of how you could do it with a SaaS, Viper FX. And like you see, hopefully you can see that oh, and they have a typo. Oh, they have a typo that John just noticed. Uh-oh. We should email them. But hopefully you can see that they've basically followed my formula. It's very similar and a very non-traditional SaaS page. But remember, you want to be non-traditional. If everybody starts stealing my template, for example, we're going to have to modify it again. To stand out, you have to be unique. You can't be like everyone else. Don't build the same landing page as everyone else. I think I've got this in the landing page. What is it? I'll find this, but there's a site where you can just scroll through Landing Folio. I think I include this in the resources. I'll make sure that it's there for you. But if you scroll through these pages, you just start to notice a lot of landing pages that look the same. Nothing unique about them, nothing interesting about them. This one jumped out at me right away because there's a little personality, But even that emoji thing, maybe that's going to get too tired and you'll have to, switch it up. So the key is you want to stand out and you want to conform to all these principles that we just covered in my sample. All right. So let's do the landing page teardowns. I've got 2 of them. And then we'll talk about getting traffic. I'm going to save the cherry for the very end because everyone wants to know how to get more traffic. Well, if you want to get more traffic, you just have to stick around till the end. All right? You folks with me? Evan and John, you ready? Let's start with Link Sense. but you can't see me. There we go. Maybe we'll put my webcam on here too, because then you can see how I'm reacting to all this. You can see my facial expressions. I might be like, ooh, wow. All right, there's me. I'm just going to close that little drip widget there. And it might be the way I'm viewing this. It might be my screen size, but man, there is a lot of space up here at the top. So let me know if my resolution's not correct, but there's a lot of space here. I think we could probably clean this up. Where's that coming from? Again, I'm not a designer. Quite a bit of padding there. So there's padding at the top. Some of it's coming from there. Yeah, I would look into this and figure out why there's so much space up here. I can't see it right from here, but I want to get to this point. I want to get to this, and this is a distraction. This is a home page. It's not a landing page, so it's acceptable for you to have other links and stuff, but I just want this stuff. I also don't like these hovering menu bars personally. Something you might want to test. Don't take anything I say for gospel. Like, I'm just a jackass on the internet. What do I know? But I would test it without this, this whatever you call these hovering headers. I don't even know if can I get rid of that? Because I just want to see this part. This is what I want to get into. All right. And at the beginning, when you have no brand recognition, the brand doesn't matter. All that matters is the person who's visiting the page, the problem in their life, and how you're going to solve it. A simpler way to get more app installs. Install links that work for both iPhone and Android phones. All right. So now we're getting into some things here. What do I like about this? I like the fact that I know who it's for. It's for developers. I know what the struggle is. I'm having a hard time getting people to install my app. I want more app downloads. That's the dream of a better life. Awesome. You're really I just got distracted by the chat. I gotta stop doing that. You're helping me understand who this is for. What's missing from this picture? There's no button. There's nothing for me to click on. If I'm ready right now, if you've convinced me right here, I want to be able to click right away. Where's the first time I can click? Way down here? Not good enough. I want it right at the top. It's at least worth testing, okay? So if I was you, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this live, but I would... Of course, I'm going to try. Okay. Oh, yeah. I see what's going on here. So, if I was you, I'm going to try to cheat here and see if you've got a button style. I would put a button here. Sign up now. Right? Is that going to work? Okay. Well, there's no real button, but you can see even like having something here that people can click on. Huge. All right. How can we make this headline better? A simpler way feels like the part we can get rid of. So let's just test it out just by getting rid of that for now. Get more app installs is definitely more punchy, isn't it? Let's compare the two. A simpler way to get more app installs, or get more app installs. I kind of like the simple and punchy. Install links. That's where I'm stumbling over that. Install links. Is that if that's the actual term? It's super. It's not. Install links. Install links. If that's a term that everyone understands in your audience, then keep it. I'm stumbling over it, right? and I'm trying to think of something better off the top of my head. Maybe we'll come back to that. If you've got ideas in the chat, definitely put them in there. Oh, I like RAM, distribute apps easily. Let's try that out. Distribute your app easily. I kind of like that. That might be another one to test, right? Distribute your app easily. It's got a nice action word in there. That might be a good one to try. All right, let's keep going down. An easier way for customers to install your mobile apps. We might try make it easier for customers to install your mobile apps, because then we get the word make at the beginning. Make it easier for users, maybe. Maybe we take away the word your in this case to install mobile apps. I'm not a huge, I'm a fan of sentence case. Just feels more friendly to me. At this point in mine, this is where I'm digging into the pain, right? So let's just refresh this so you can see the original. Dig into the pain. What makes this problem so hard for users? Next, describe your solution, and finally, paint the picture. So we've already kind of said make it easier for users to download apps. Did I take away something that we should have kept? So we want to dig into the pain here, and because we kind of talked about, like, what if we make it easier for users to, what if we did this? Make it easier for users to download both iPhone and Android apps. It's a little bit long. Maybe we could try get there. Again, we're just trying things out. But let's say we had this up here. Down here, let's talk about the pain, because who is this for? This is for developers. It's frustrating it's frustrating even as a dev, it's frustrating getting users on Android and iOS. We want to dig into the pain here. Why is this a frustrating problem? And I'm guessing, actually, I think you demoed this for me, but really dig into what are customers saying? Like, what is this customer saying? I want to hear more about the problem. I want to hear more about the frustration. If you've distributing your app on the Apple and Android marketplace should be easy. But it's not. There's no simple way to drive users to the right store depending on the right store for their device, right? This is kind of what we want to dig into. Like, as a dev, it's frustrating getting users on Android and iOS. Distributing your app on the Apple and Android marketplace should be easy, but it's not. There's no simple way to drive users to the right store for their device. I created a system that automatically, I don't even exactly know what this does, but automatically sends users to the right store, that automatically gets users downloading the app for their phone or something. None of this is like super brilliant copy, but how does it work? What are the features and benefits? And now paint the picture at the end here. Now, you don't have to I don't exactly know how this works. So you don't have to, put the same links on every page or whatever the dream of a better life is, put that all here. All right. So I would modify this section just using this as your guide. Start your free trial. Okay, so this is good. You got a button. Now you've got some social proof. The one thing is it is super hard to read this. This is not dark enough. I would definitely change that. So even if is it going to let me change this? Because let's just change it to black, and make it stronger, like the font weight. What do you got here? Do you got anything? You need to make this jump out a bit. It's not bold enough. It fades into the background too much. But great picture of a face there. That's going to really help. It lends credibility to it. I don't like often when people give me testimonials, I'll cut out words like tremendously. Just cut those things out. And one way to, another secret, another little hack here, folks, is to just get a Grammarly subscription. And can I log in here? I don't know my password, but I just paste this into Grammarly, and it's going to give you suggestions on how to tighten up all of this text, right? So this particular testimonial, for example, could be minimized maybe to a couple lines. I would also, this is quite wide here. If you can, I would make it not as wide. I would bring it in just so it's easier to read. It's very long lines right now, but I like it. It's there. You've got some social proof there. How does LinkSense work? Okay, here we go. Now you're telling me. By the way, it took me forever. I had to get all the way down here just to hear how this thing works. You need to tell me about that. Summarize this up here. All right, so you create your link, and we'll give you an intelligent install link that works for both. And see, this is the thing. You got to, it's something about, you only need to download with one link, only one download link. You don't need to have two, something like that. So tell the world, customers engage. Every time someone clicks on your links, LinkSense detects the device is being used, and then you get analytics too. That's awesome. You should have a screenshot of the analytics. People love reports, man. If you've got a screenshot of the analytics, put that right here. Here, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This is one of my favorite things to do. Is you just go and it could be, maybe it's not even your thing, right? But just put in a placeholder just to get a sense of what it feels like and how much better it would be if you had a link to some analytics right here, right? So edit HTML. Watch this. I'm gonna put this in here, and you're gonna instantly get a picture of, oh yeah, look at that. Imagine if I had analyze and discover, and then I've got a picture of the dang reports right there, and then I've got a button right here. Oh, you got a button right there. Good for you. See? So that would be huge. The other thing you're missing from here, from this page, I got to slow down. I got to switch to the next one because I'm running out of air. You need a bio. Why should I trust you? Who are you? Who is this anonymous developer making LinkSense.io? If you're a small one-person shop, don't be ashamed of it. Just put it right in there. Hey, this is who I am, and this is something I made, and I made it because of this. And build trust. Tell your story. Build rapport. Okay? So hopefully that's helpful. John, but I got to meet John at a conference. Super awesome guy. I hope all of us can meet up at some point. One of my favorite things is meeting people on the internet and doing things like this, and then getting to meet them in real life. And I'm I've met John in real life. Hamish came and visited me in Vernon. That's my rule. If you want to pick my brain or go for coffee, you have to come here to Vernon. And I just had a person do that. He booked a plane ticket just to come for coffee with me, and it was awesome. So I met Hamish. Who else have I met? I think that's it from this chat, but always nice meeting up with folks in real life. All right, let's get to our friend Evan. I'm just going to save this page for John just in case you might want that. I'll send it to him. All right, now let's get our Chrome window up here. Let's get this. All right. Beauty. Okay, so next we've got Evan's TixTax. TixTax. I like it. Okay. And this is the first time seeing the page. So the advantage to you, Evan, is these are just going to be top of mind things as I'm going through this. You're going to be able to get my initial impressions, right? TixTax. One less thing to remember, one less thing to pay. We want you to forget about street cleaning. Relax. TixTax will remember it for you. Hello, street cleaning starts in an hour. Don't forget to move your car. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Okay, so this is a very simple idea, right? You are providing a really basic service. I love it. Simple services are great for people to remind them to move their car. One less thing to remember, one less thing to pay. You've missed your opportunity. You got the biggest headline. It's on the right-hand side. Right-hand side. This is where people look the most, right? They always scan from this side to this side. Don't waste your opportunity here. Let's edit this. So, move your car before the street cleaners arrive. Right? That's the dream of a better life. Who is this for? It's for people that keep forgetting to move their car before the street cleaners arrive. Move your car before the street cleaners arrive. That is the dream of a better life. That is the thing you're providing. That talks about who this is for. It has an action verb. Move your car before the street cleaners arrive. I think we can take out the we language here. Never forget about street cleaning again. Relax, and TixTax will remember it for you. Okay? So, by the way, I love the social proof up here at the top. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me bring this. I'm going to blow this all up and upset Evan. But at the top of the screen here, I got to show you here. Hold on. At the top, he says, saved over 130,000. That's amazing social proof. So already he's saying people are using this and it saved over $130,000. Okay. So, I think this piece is a little bit early. I like that you have it. Who are we? You need to have it, but it's a little bit too early. You haven't sold me on this yet. You've told me a little bit about it, but I want to hear a little bit more. All right. So you've got this section here. I wouldn't quit using the word we. It's always you. You pay a high price for forgetting, right? It's all about me. It's not about we. It's not about you. It's about me. You pay a high price for forgetting. $20 billion annually. Life can be demanding. Designed to get you. I don't know what this headline means. I would change this one. You had me with $20 billion annually. You had me with high price for forgetting. You had me with life can be demanding. Designed to get you. I stumbled over. They'll get you, maybe. See, this is so hard because if people don't get the context right away, quit suffering maybe, or I get what you're saying, because it says statistics show that every driver pays. How about save that $100? That might be enough, or save $100 every year. Get to the really, each headline needs to lead into the next part. So if you want me to read this, I would say save $100 every year. It's a great benefit already. This section here is where I would put the who are we. Okay? And again, test this out. Sign up for an Optimizely account, optimizely.com, and run some split tests on this. So have your original and then use my suggestions and see if my suggestions get you more conversion. But put the who are you here. I love this. You got more social proof. This is why this is a big thing. Just got my 5th Street cleaning ticket yet. So you've grabbed things from Twitter in real life. You've done your research. That gets 2 thumbs up from me. I love this part here. And now you're getting into reminders at work. That's good. We'll take it from here. Text hello to 855-8692. So this is your call to action, right? They got a text. I would put that at the top. There's nothing. If someone just lands here and you've convinced them already, like they searched for this on Google and they were already ready to buy, already ready to commit, allow them to do that right in here somewhere, right? Let's see if we've got any. This page is a little bit more. I can't hack around in here as much as I want, but maybe if you're going to have a purple thing here, like text hello to 855 or get started, right? Get started, text hello to 855-218-8692. But I really like this page. I think you've got a lot of good things here. Then you've got more social proof. Let's have one less thing to remember. Get started for free. Again, you got to have your call to action here, right? So text hello to 855-218-8692. You're going to have that over and over and over again. I didn't test this, but actually, let's look at this. I'm assuming that you guys are using the tell hyperlinks here. Oh, you're not. Oh, are you? No, you're not. You can link this using, instead of I'll send it to you, but you can link this up so that on people's mobile phones, all they have to do is click on the link and it automatically call for them. That would be another way to get them more active, right? Perfect. So I'm just noticing something in the chat. I'm not exactly sure what this means. Hold on. John is saying there's some profanity. I don't know what this is talking about. Notice the site uses occasional unbleeped profanity. Recommend bleeping that or not? Is there profanity on the text site? Is that what you're saying? Is there swear words on here? Oh, yeah, I see. There's swear words on there. Okay. Yeah. If it depends on the audience. Sometimes, in most cases, you don't want to have swear words on your page. This part's hard because they're embedding a tweet, right? So they're embedding a tweet with the swear word in it, which if it depends on how they're embedding it. But I guess if they were embedding it in a way that allowed them to edit it, they probably should. Okay. And yeah, Jason has posted the how to link up a phone number. Perfect. Hopefully that was helpful, Evan. I really enjoyed that page. And like I said, a few things you could tweak there and I think really improve it and increase the conversion. Now, in our last few minutes here, the thing everyone wants to know, how do I get more traffic for these pages? Let's start with TixTex. Question for Evan. Is this just for one area or is this for every area? I'm guessing it's for every area, right? There's a few different ways you could get traffic for this TixTex site. One is you've got lots of emotion here, right? There's lots of you were able to find on Twitter and other places people that were upset about this. And I think you want to tap into that. There's some great content marketing I think you could do around that. For example, on Reddit, like if we went to Reddit and then, actually I'm going to go back to TixTex. Let's look down here. Street cleaning ticket. So Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Calgary. So the trend I'm noticing is a lot of city-specific subreddits. You may want to create a landing page for each of these places. So maybe get TixTex/Chicago and then have something like a specific message for people in Chicago, right? That might work. You might be able to, and you might be able to announce it in Reddit with the words like, this would be the title, like service for Chicagoans. How do you call a Chicago? What is a Chicago? A Chicago, whatever. So they stop getting street cleaning tickets, right? And so you might be able to post something like that on Reddit, depending on the subreddit, depending on the rules. If it's appropriate for that subreddit, and if there's already a lot of people posting, complaints about street cleaning tickets, that might work, right? So that's one idea, is to make specific landing pages and maybe throw in some flavor just for those folks, ham it up a little bit, have specific tweets and examples from people in their neighborhood, maybe make it less corporate, like take away TixTex, so there's not that Reddit brand aversion right away, but just kind of be like listing this as, here's something just for people in Chicago. Yeah, I just closed my find window. Thanks, Jason. Other ideas for getting traffic to this. A lot of this could be just, especially since you're already on Twitter here. Have you already reached out to this person? Yeah. So you're replying to folks as TixTex, which is cool. I would do it as a person. If I see this, I automatically feel like, you're trying to sell me something. But if you replied to these texts as an individual, right? Get the personality you've got going here, right? As one of these folks. Reply to that and tell your story a little bit. Say, hey, you know what? I was just in a competition and we built an app just for this. You should check it out. It's over here. It's free. That would be another way to get traffic to this page, is to just start engaging with some of these folks, right? Another idea is your landing page could have more of a regrets feel. So like I had an idea for a web page called Domain Regrets, where I would just find a feed of people that were ticked off about buying a domain, right? They just bought a domain and like, oh, why did I buy that? Well, you could have something called street cleaning ticket regrets or something like that and make that your landing page. Something like that where it's really focused on something humorous and really focusing on the social proof, like just lots of people that don't like this thing. That could be an interesting way to get traffic too, because it's unique, right? Now, all of a sudden, it's something people want to share, because if they've had a speeding ticket, if they've had a street cleaning ticket, it's frustrating, right? Another idea actually for this page is to actually have a real photo of a real ticket on a dash. There's something about that, the realness. Your site is really well designed. It looks really cool, but maybe just to have a photo of like, here's a photo of what it could look like if you don't get this service. You can do sentiment-based analysis on Twitter. So if you go to search.twitter.com and we go to advanced search, we can have street cleaning ticket and, you can't actually do the sentiment analysis on Twitter, but there is other things that allow you to do sentiment analysis. So that would be another thing, is just continuing to engage with folks on Twitter. There's tons and tons of tweets. Look at all these tweets. Wow. So that's another idea right there. Obviously, Product Hunt and things like that. Product Hunt loves little like utilities like these. If you haven't launched on there already, that would give you a ton of traction. Text. Okay, so it's not on there. Product Hunt would be a great one. I can't always help people with Product Hunt submissions, but if you email me, I will at justin@megamaker.co. I can definitely look at submitting it for you, but that would definitely get you some traffic. Okay, let's switch back to the other one, because I want to talk about traffic there. Now I can't remember. LinkSense. So for LinkSense, I would because your market is developers, I would use Show HN if you haven't already. So let's see if anybody. Oh, I just closed that window. LinkSense. Let's see have you posted on here ever? Nope. Classic developer, John. So there's a great section on Hacker News called Show, and your market is developers. Show HN. I built an app for mobile developers that helps them get more installs on iOS and Android. So I would use this, John, to submit. This is how I can't log in right now, but here, I'm actually just going to edit this just so you can see how I would submit this, because so I would go Show HN. I built an app that helps devs get more installs on iOS and Android. Right? And the cool thing about this is this is designed for self-promotion. You're supposed to promote your thing on here. It's a lot easier to get traction on here. The top entry right now has 11 upvotes, which is, the actual homepage has way more than that. So I would post it on here. There's tons of Hacker News folks in your target audience that that might identify with this, especially because you're a developer and you've built something for developers. And in the comments, you can tell a little bit of your story, right? So usually when I post these Show HNs, I make mine the first comment and I talk a little bit about, this is why I built it. This is what I was running into. Again, all of the same stuff that we would have put in your landing page in the story section, right? Up here, you want to just copy that story and put it as the first comment in Hacker News. So that would be one spot. You could also definitely submit it to Product Hunt. Let's see if you've done that. What is it? Link Sense. Whoop. Link Sense. Okay, so you haven't submitted it to Product Hunt either. So again, that would be a natural next place for you to do it. Easy way to get a bunch of traffic, and Product Hunt is a technical audience, so they're in your target market. Reddit is tricky, but you can, especially if you can find people and subreddits where it's been a hot topic, you can definitely use Reddit, and you have to be a bit more sneaky in how you sneak it in, but it is possible to promote your site on Reddit and get traffic. You have to use all of these things appropriately. The other big thing for both of you is going to be SEO. It's the one that people forget all the time, but for John, it might be get a single install link for iOS and Android. And, one link is the top right now. And you're not on here yet. So optimizing your site, John, for search. If there's people with intent that are searching for these things, and they're looking and they're going to click on the top link here, you might also want to copy what some of these folks here are doing, right? So if simplify app downloads with one link app to all app stores, that's a great headline. That you want to have something similar on your page. Already you can see this is maybe not as strong as this one here. But search engine optimization for both sites. I've got a SEO course that you can buy. If you're already a member in Tiny Marketing Wins, you've already got it. But I'll get you that link and I'll send it to you after we're done here. But if you're more interested in SEO, there's a good course for you on that. All right. How are we doing? Is there any more questions before we leave today? Jason is asking, how does ShowHN work for done-for-you services? It really depends. Again, you kind of have to feel your way into that. Is it something that the audience would like? I think for Hacker News, it's usually an actual product. Like, they're not big fans of courses and books and productized services. It's more like an actual app that you've built. That's more impressive to them. The other thing I mentioned in the other workshop is there is a site called Slack. Is it Slacklist? Yeah, slacklist.info. I'll show you this here. But this is a great way to do your research and to get traffic. Is you join a relevant Slack chat, and you build up a reputation as someone who's helpful, and then folks want to say, hey, what are you building? And then you say, oh, I'm building this app here. This is what it does. So there might be Slack chats for the city of Chicago. There's definitely Slack chats for mobile developers. You might want to join one of these communities here. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Yeah, so SEO tips for you would be
similar. The multiple pages for different cities will help a lot, just like John is saying. So street cleaning ticket Chicago, street cleaning ticket New York. How to fight a street cleaning ticket. How to avoid a street cleaning ticket. Street cleaning ticket reminder. Like, you want to rank for all of those keywords. If you haven't set up Google Webmaster Tools yet or Google Search Console, you definitely want to do that. It's google.com/ it was Webmasters, but now it's probably something else. Yeah, google.com/webmasters. This is your starting point for doing SEO. And if we were going to search, for example, street cleaning ticket Chicago, the real gold is in these questions that people ask, but then also searches related to. So, street cleaning ticket photo enforced, pay street cleaning ticket Chicago, Chicago street cleaning 2017. These are things people are searching. How to fight a street cleaning ticket might be a good set of keywords for you to focus on. And so often I will take these keywords and then I will put them right into my landing page or the blog post. So in this case, how to fight a street cleaning ticket in Chicago. And then it could be, don't get the ticket in the first place. Get notified with TIX tax, right? So that might be something to try. If you had a page that had a title and an H1 with these keywords, you're going to rank quite well for the term here, which Google's already saying is a popular search term. So that would be some advice for you there. What does PR look like? So any communities or sites like HN for productized services, are you looking for people who run productized services, or are you looking for people that want productized services? If you're looking for people who want productized services, it's usually niche based. Like, this is a productized service for freelancers. This is a productized service for people who run courses. This is a productized service for retail store owners. So you probably want to focus more on the audience there. What does PR look like in 2017? I think PR is good, yeah. It really depends on the product, and it really depends on the audience. So part of PR these days, for most products, most tech products, is launching on Product Hunt, because that creates such a big splash that the journalists and the VCs and everybody else, they're all watching the site, and when something gets released, they all talk about it. So part of PR is just posting on the right sites. I think it's also can be helpful to build up relationships with reporters and bloggers and journalists. This is something I actually talked about in the other workshop. By the way, so cool that you guys are really getting a different experience based on your questions. We went very different directions, but if you're wondering, if you're looking for other traffic sources, Ahrefs, ahrefs.com is a great tool for finding who is linking to your site, but more importantly, who is linking to your competitors' sites. And so you can use this as a tool to, find out which bloggers are talking about my competition. Really, really helpful. So I'd recommend that as well. Okay, I'll take a few more questions. What would you say is the best place to reach product managers and team managers? 2 places, Product Hunt, and then there's a private community called Product Manager HQ. ProductManagerHQ.com. This is a big Slack group, 18,000 product people. So if if you're not a member of this already, I would definitely join. He does Q&As with members. He has a Twitter account. I think he accepts sponsorships. This would be a great spot for you to be hanging out if you're looking to connect with product managers. All right. Ahrefs allows you to use it for free up to a certain level. So in the last couple minutes we have here, maybe I can demo this for you quick. Just give me a second. So let's sign in. So I'm going to use as an example, let's see if I can find. All right, so I'm going to use one link as an example. So this is John's competitor. So we can see that it has 5.5 million backlinks, and we can see what referring domains are there too. So let's click on backlinks. Working away. It's a lot of backlinks to go through, so see if I can get the referring domains. So here are all of the domains linking to this site. There's a lot of spam in here, which is a good thing for John, because that means if he gets legitimate backlinks, he is going to win. He's going to be, he will win in the search ranking game. Let's see if there's any good backlinks here. Oh, you know what? This is probably a lot of customers are linking here. Interesting. So there's a lot of links here that I think are actually using one link, and that's why they're getting so many backlinks from there. Let's try this here. See if this gives us some more interesting results, because we want to see competitors. We want to see, in terms of PR, we want to see what blogs or news outlets are talking about it. Let's see. See if we get some better ones here. So Product Hunt is a big one, really big one. They're getting tons of backlinks from Product Hunt search. So that would be definitely one to check out is Product Hunt, because they're getting a lot of backlinks from there. You can also check out what keywords they're getting. App URL, what is URL app, iOS app URL. These are all things you can target in terms of keywords. Is there any other? Let's check the referring domains and see if we can get anything else. So Product Hunt, yeah, nothing else really interesting there. Let's see if there's a street cleaning ticket reminder. So here we go. What's this? It's talking about PR. App helps urban drivers avoid street cleaning tickets. Is this about you? Is this about TixTax? No, it's about Metromile. So they used PR effectively. By the way, you might want to go to cars.com and submit a similar press release, right? And if this is Metromile, let's see what backlinks they're getting. Oh, I just reached my search. I just reached my limit. But those are the steps I would go through to find folks that are talking about services similar to yours. What bloggers, what news outlets. Where can I submit my press releases to? Ahrefs, even in the free tier, will give you enough to at least get started, enough to at least get going. Yeah, so to answer your question, Evan, in terms of finding people to test your landing page with, I would go through the same channels we just talked about. So wherever your audience hangs out, if that's on Reddit, if that's on Product Hunt, if you're not done, if the product's not out yet, you might want to try something called Beta List, which is just for people with landing pages, but the product's not ready yet. You could interact with influencers. I talk about that in the handout. So building relationships with influencers that have the same audience as you makes a big difference. Even actually by showing up at things like this, obviously I'm not going to, you guys aren't all working on products that fit my audience, but if I get emails all the time from people that want me to share their stuff, but just by being here, if you had a product that met, that was kind of connected with my audience, I might tweet it out for you. So building relationships is another way to get traffic. Find people in a given target market to test your landing page. I've found Slack groups really effective for this too. Just to say, hey, I'm working on this. Could you guys test this out? People really respond to that favorably, and that can be helpful. Don't avoid search engine optimization even early on. If you can start getting in those search results and having people who are, with intent that are looking for a solution, that's the best testing, because, they actually want what they're actually looking for, the thing that you're selling. And then you can your conversion metrics will mean something. If you get a bunch of traffic from Product Hunt, and like 99% of them aren't in your market, it won't mean much. All right. Cool. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being here at the second landing page workshop. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm going to be following up with an email with a few more resources. And if you have questions, again, shoot me an email. As long as they're not too complex, I can answer them for you. I also have a more in-depth landing page service where I do an individual teardown for you and really dig into, here's some things you can do. Here's some traffic ideas. That's about $500. If you're interested in that, you can email me about that. But again, hopefully you've got some takeaways. Hopefully you've got a landing page, or at least a format and some prompts that'll help you write a landing page, and show them to me. If you publish a landing page after this workshop and you incorporated some of the things I said, share it with me. I would love to see it, and maybe I can even help you find places where you can get some traction. All right. Thanks again, and I will talk to you soon.